is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. Back home kicks off a homestand at Busch Stadium. And tonight a weekend series. It's game number one of a three-game set. It is the Milwaukee Brewers and the St. Louis Cardinals, and a lot is on the line. The Brewers just a half game back of St. Louis in the Central, and in the wild card, it's the Braves, Phillies, Padres, Brewers all chasing as we speak. And welcome to the broadcast booth with Jim Edmonds, the Cardinals Hall of Famer. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes with us as well. Cardinals trying to bounce back after a tough series, dropping 2 out of 3 against the Rockies. But St. Louis playing well at home, and two guys that could be MVPs this year of the National League.
Well, if you look at the stats, you wouldn't believe it, right? This team in the last week is basically #1 in offense in the league, and yet lost 2 of 3 in Colorado. Well, that's going to happen, but not if these guys can help it. One right here, Paul Goldschmidt, he has not slowed down since early April. And then the other guy just on the other side, you'll get to see him soon, the third baseman, Nolan Arenado right here. I mean, what a series he had last week in Colorado.
He was awesome, and so was Goldie. And quietly right now, Nolan Arenado edging into that conversation maybe for the National League MVP. And it looks like both guys are going to make themselves very valuable in terms of defense as well. It's Jordan Montgomery. He is on the mound for St. Louis, the former Yankee, in his second St. Louis start going tonight. Montgomery and the Cardinals taking on the Brewers, and it's coming up on Bally Sports.
Between the Cardinals and the Brewers, this is a big one as we welcome you back inside our Bally Sports Midwest studios. Brad Thompson, Alexa Dat. Jordan Montgomery making his second start with the Birds on the bat. First time with them. He was absolutely incredible against his former team. 5 scoreless. What are we expecting tonight, Brad?
More of that. Look, and I expect him to get deeper into this ball game. Last time he left due to some cramping, but he was solid. And what I like about Montgomery, first of all, he's a strike thrower. He gets ahead, but then he lets his off-speed work against the righties, uses that changeup very effectively away. He can throw it down for a strike, he can throw it down for chase, and then he uses his breaking ball also. He gets a lot of swing and miss early in counts, and that is something, swing and miss is something that the Cardinals rotation did not have a bunch of. With the addition of Montgomery and Quintana, boy, they've been good.
Yeah, it's kind of a new thing for them, but it's working out really well. As you mentioned, that breaking ball, really nice. When we come back, we'll look back at last night's Field of Dreams game. That's coming up next here on Bally Sports. Field of Dreams game between the Cubs and the Reds. Nearly 8,000 people in attendance. Cubs jumped out to that early 3-0 lead in the first inning after an Ian Happ RBI double. Cubs would go on to defeat the Reds 4-2, but honestly, it was more about the fans and all of the pomp and circumstance surrounding this incredible night. Coming up next, Danny Mack and Jim Edmonds will get you set for game number 1 between the Cardinals and the Brewers right here on Bally Sports Midwest.
Last 8 home games, they have been wins. The starter's ERA is around 3.5. The relief corps has been outstanding, and the Cardinals always field the baseball well. Will the bats be out tonight? The Brewers, they can pitch. Should be a fun series. The Brewers, the Cardinals coming up on Bally Sports. Back home in St. Louis, where the Cardinals have played very well, especially lately. And St. Louis at home, 15 games above the 500 mark. It is 82 degrees, not that humid. It is a beautiful night for baseball on this Friday night with Jim Hayes, Jim Edmonds. I'm Dan McLaughlin. And first place is on the line between the Milwaukee Brewers and the St. Louis Cardinals. It is Jordan Montgomery making the start for St. Louis. Last time out, blistering hot Saturday here at Busch Stadium. And that was against his former team. He went 5 innings in that start. He's very tough against the lefties. And Jimmy Montgomery going here for the second time as a Redbird.
Yeah, the Hyundai pitch arsenal, mostly sinker with the curveball. A few changeups here and there. Kind of erratic. I think that's his game is he's a little effectively wild at times. Not all over the zone in perfect spots, but he'll go up, he'll go down, in and out. So look to be effectively wild at times and then make some pitches.
And digging in for the first time tonight, Christian Yelich, the former MVP, batting .259. Montgomery, a very simple delivery, essentially works from the stretch the entire time. And he's a big guy, 6'6", 225 pounds. 23rd start and second with the Cardinals. Career start number 99 tonight. And the 0-1 pitch. And the lineup for the Brewers tonight: Yelich at the top, then Willie Adames, Andrew McCutchen, Mike Brasso, Hunter Renfroe, Keston Hiura, Luis Urias, Victor Caratini, a switch hitter, and Tyrone Taylor. And the 1-1 pitch to Yelich. Cardinals were able to get him out a lot away the last time that we saw them at Miller Park.
Yeah, I felt like watching Yelich over the last year and a half. It's been pitched in a lot. It seems like he's pulling off a lot of pitches, and he was able to drive the ball the other way, especially in their ballpark a few years ago, and not the same guy.
And the 1-2 pitch. Outside corner and a strikeout. And that's how we start this series. So Dylan Carlson, the day off yesterday, starting in center tonight. O'Neill in left, Nootbaar in right. Arenado, DeYoung, Edman, Goldie on the infield, Yachty behind the plate. And around the horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Here's Willie Adames with the 22 home runs, and he's driven in 64. He is 1 for 8 head-to-head against the Cardinals lefty. And the first pitch, a strike. The first time you're traded, Jimmy, it's emotional, no doubt. And then Montgomery had to go face the team that just traded him, the Yankees.
That happened a lot this year.
Yes.
There was a lot of guys switching sides in the same city, and I've seen it a few times, but this year it seemed like it happened a lot. And you know, the thing for Montgomery, you said, it doesn't have to be throwing 97 to have that kind of good velocity with the ball on the inside half, especially. I think the key to him too is that the 6'5", 6'5", the ball is coming from a big, tall angle, and you could see with Yelich, he just didn't really pick up the kind of the release point right away.
So last Saturday it was 5 innings, couple of hits, no earned, gave up just 1 hit, and he's gone at least 5 in 18 of his 22 starts this year. He's really tough too against the lefties. They're hitting just 195 against him this year. They came in at 210 for his career. The 1-2 pitch. High fly ball into deep left center, backing up Dylan Carlson. Under it for out number 2. Jim Edmonds, Toyota, key to the game.
Well, I think with Montgomery, just like you said, just move the ball around. You know, get a different angle. You could see the ball up. It kind of flattens out because he is so tall, but the ball down has good angle. It's funny is he doesn't throw on paper a slider, so to speak, but you saw a couple pitches to Yelich that didn't really jump out of his hand as a curveball, but had good down action. So it's kind of in between.
Now Andrew McCutchen with 2 outs, nobody on. And the first pitch taken low.
I mean, that's not a typical slider, but that's not a typical breaking ball either.
Montgomery's made 1 career start against Milwaukee. That was back in 2017 at Yankee Stadium. Went 4 1/3 that day. Fouled back by McCutchen. He's the designated hitter tonight.
The other thing I like about this pickup too, Danny, is not a guy that the league has seen, the Central has seen. You get a guy that has been in the American League for, I mean, what, 5-6 years now, and so he's kind of untouched as far as some of these National League teams have seen. So I think it's a big advantage for him and the Cardinals.
And the 1-1. And he comes out of the American League East, and you're not pitching at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
So that ball that was just hit by Adames, that's on the track near the wall at Yankee Stadium.
And like you said, the East, I think, is the one division that we played the least amount over the last maybe 10 or even 15 years. So it's really been a league that we haven't seen much.
We've seen what Yankee Stadium has done with Matt Carpenter. And I don't want to take away from his work in getting back,
No,
but
you're right.
you're going to benefit from playing in that ballpark.
Tell you what, if I was the general manager of the Yankees, I would be watching to see who hits fly balls to right field.
100%.
And wait for that person either come up on the trade block or come up for free agency.
The 2-2 line softly and caught by DeYoung. Montgomery enjoys a 1-2-3. Nice to be back home at Busch Stadium in St. Louis as we celebrate the 82 team. Top of the lineup coming up. Ollie Marmol, then Tyler O'Neill, Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado, Albert Pujols, the DH, Tommy Edman, Paul DeYoung, Yadier Molina, and Lars Nootbaar batting leadoff yesterday, dropping down to the 9 position in the ballgame tonight. The lefty Eric Lauer's had a good season, 8-3 with an ERA of 3.59. That's the one thing the Brewers can do, Jimmy. They can flat out pitch.
They have a good pitching staff, like you said. Hyundai pitch arsenal here, and I mean, you're kind of going right after guys with a four-seamer and a slider. You see that changeup doesn't get a lot of usage, but look at the swings and misses, 23%. So even though he doesn't throw it a lot, it must be a weapon. If you're getting basically 1 out of every 4 swings is no contact.
And the first pitch taken low by Carlson. Enjoyed the off day for him personally yesterday. Cardinals made the ball game interesting late as they dropped 2-3 against the Rockies to the excitement of last weekend against the Yankees. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Interesting too, you get 2 lefties that basically don't really throw the slider very much, even though it's on the list. 1%, 0.5%, and the changeup hardly anything either. So it's got to look fastball, curveball, and a little bit of cutter versus these guys tonight. So you're going to get a lot of fastballs to hit.
It's going to be a fun weekend as the Cardinals celebrate the anniversary of the 1982 championship club. 22 members of that team are back in attendance tonight and tomorrow. We'll carry that ceremony for you tomorrow night.
Is it me, or does it seem like we're always celebrating that group? Because I feel like they're around the stadium more than anyone else. They're always here.
The 82 guys, there's a lot of them that
Still
stayed
here.
in the area. Yeah. 85 guys, 87
I
too.
kind of think they're all in that same lump to me.
Because of that guy right there.
Yeah. I just spent a nice evening with him the other night over in the right field suite section. You know, the night we got rained out, we had a little thing together and got to hang out with Whitey for a little bit. Al sat around, talked for a little bit, and everyone said, wait, the game's canceled.
And then the skies opened up and it poured late. Keston Hira is at first base tonight. Urias at second. Adames Brasso on the left side. Caratini behind the plate. Yelich, Taylor, Renfroe in the outfield. And Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Well, it's a shakeup with the lineup. And when you move O'Neill to the second spot in the lineup, they're trying to get him going and get pitches to hit when you're hitting in front of Goldie and Arenado and Albert Pujols. You're going to get some pitches to hit.
I think that the number 2 spot is the best place to hit. I think early on we talked about how I loved, Tony loved Mark hitting in the first inning no matter what. He thought there was an instant run happening. But I think when you have confidence in your team and you have a good 1 and 2 and your third guy's pretty good, I'm taking my chances that my fourth guy probably is going to get a chance to hit half of the games in the first inning. Take my chances with that. Yeah. So you get a guy that can lead off, then you get a guy that you want to get pitched to because of the guy behind him, and then it's a free-for-all after that when you got Arenado and then Pujols, and then you got Tommy really randomly hitting in that kind of that 6th spot. So you got a lot of things to play with here. And then you got DeYoung all of a sudden getting hot again, and don't sleep on Nootbaar, and then Molina can do damage at any time. I mean, Yadi's one of those guys that can fall out of bed and hit, and can not play for a month and show up and do everything you need him to do.
Off the plate, and it's 2-1. Brewers have been a good team on the road. They're above 500 at 31-28. Last season on the road, they were 50-31. That was their best road record in the history of their club. 2-2 with Goldie on deck. Lauer on the road, 11 starts, 4-2, with an ERA about 4.5. In his career, 13-13 with just about that same ERA. The 2-2 pitch to Tyler O'Neill. And it's 3-2. Lauer has a pretty good move. We'll see if the Cardinals want to start Dylan Carlson. This big crowd making some noise on a Friday night here in St. Louis. And the 3-2 pitch. Carlson not running, and it's taken on the inside corner, and a strike 3 called.
Sorry, my microphone slipped there for a second.
I'm glad nothing else slipped out of your mouth, Jimmy.
What do we got going on there? So, every now and then I'm a fan. I have a good relationship with these kids, and we talk a lot and talk hitting and spend time on the, away from the field on the planes, and sometimes it's hard to watch. It's like watching your son play every now and then. You're like, what in the heck?
You know what, Jimmy? We got away with that at bat up here unscathed.
Wow.
Wow is right.
Thank you for the warnings in the past with Bert Blyleven. Thank you very much.
So fastballs this season and what guys have done. Lauer slugging percentage the 4th highest, so maybe some damage going to be done tonight with Goldie and Arenado back to back. Goldie hitting .332. And a breaking ball taken down and in, 1-0.
When the only chance you got against guys like this to get through an entire game for both of them is you have to throw everything at them right away. You have to go around the plate. You have to go in. You have to go up. And you got to be careful. And you definitely don't want to throw the ball there. But it's okay to walk them once in a while, and maybe get the next guy a little bit, kind of overamped. And you got to kind of play with it. You just got to pick your spots. And the big problem, I think, right now is you got to see Albert Pujols standing back there thinking, man, you know what? At any time he can go off again, too.
And the 1-1 is hit out of play.
You can see that's a good short arm fastball right there. You don't see him getting tied up at 94 very often. And, lefties can do that with the angle. Just watch both of these guys pitching tonight with Lauer and Montgomery. Both of them will have a little 3/4 cut, little arm angle coming into the righty.
Short lead at first, and a 1-2 pitch. Line foul and out of play. So, Jimmy, here we are this weekend celebrating the 82 club. Take a guess of how many home runs they hit as a team.
I already know. No, I actually don't know, but I thought I heard what you said earlier.
67.
Okay. I was going to say 55 because I thought that's what you said. But I think that our 3 and 4 hitters have that many already.
51 combined between those two. Different game.
Yes, it is.
Now, they also had 200 stolen bases.
Say they probably had a few hundred stolen bases by now. That would have to be fun to watch. I think sometimes when Bader was here and you saw O'Neill healthy and Edman healthy, I thought that was as fun to watch them run the bases as it was to watch homers.
This is fun too. 2-0 St. Louis on a home run by Goldie. Number 28.
Did I say homer?
I like homers.
Danny, I had a really nice conversation today with Chad Blair underneath the stadium today in video room, and we were talking about pitching guys in. And I said, the thing with that is when you make guys aware that you're going to pitch in, it gets them more aggressive. And that's even more so when you can't miss. And that's exactly what happened right there. You tied him up a little bit inside. He went away. But mentally, he thought, this guy can tie me up a little bit. I got to be a little bit quicker, under control, and he missed down the middle, and that's exactly what happens.
He is having some kind of year. 28 home runs. He's now driven in 89 on the season. Here's Nolan Arenado. And the 0-1 is taken low.
It's a hard changeup right there.
Arenado with a slugging percentage in the top 5 all time against Milwaukee. Big names on that list.
I think that's the thing with like Matz, he challenges you inside, and then every now and then he'll miss, but
it's there though.
The hitters are like, he's coming in, he's coming in, he's coming in, and that speeds you up.
And Arenado could not hold up, so the second strikeout for Lauer. In steps Albert Pujols. And the first pitch was the 4th home run in August for Goldschmidt already. 429 feet. 109 off the bat. 2 outs, nobody on, and an 0-1 pitch to Pujols, who had a 4-hit night in Colorado in Game 2.
I would have bet the farm right there that he was swinging at that first pitch.
Here's a 1-1. Oh, what a rip by Albert. He has never homered against this lefty. He's homered off of 448 different pitchers. 1 away from tying Barry Bonds, first in that category all time. And the 1-2. Fouled back. He's taken way better at bats than what we saw earlier this year.
I think it's just, the more we said it a lot early. People start to get into your own head when people start to say you can't hit righties, you can't do this, you can't do that. And you went from that really big leg kick to kind of using it once in a while and then not using it all the time. And that's exactly what I'm talking about right there. You see that kind of a replay right there, and watch this right here. The leg kick when he knows he's getting a fastball. Wasn't much of a leg kick there, but quick hands. And he just kind of has a better feel for the game right now.
That is chopped foul. He's had 687 home runs. 5th all time. A-Rod at 696. Bonds, Aaron, Ruth, A-Rod, Albert.
Still unbelievable.
And a 1-2. Pujols hits a rocket to second baseman Luis Urias, almost knocked him down. Paul Goldschmidt with a 2-run homer, his 28th of the year. 1 inning in the books. And a 2-0 St. Louis lead. Second inning rolls in, and let's check in with Jim Hayes.
Danny, Jack Flaherty took the first step in his latest rehab yesterday. It's our BJC injury report. Flaherty threw 1 inning for Memphis yesterday, hit his target of 35 pitches. The numbers weren't great. 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 homer. Ollie Marmol told me he's feeling pretty good. That's the main thing. He came out of the game feeling good. That's important. He said the ball came out of his hand good, and the velo was there. Overall, we were pleased. The numbers weren't great, but he came out of it feeling good. That's the main thing. And Danny, Jack will be on a rotation, will gradually build up as a starter going every 5th day going forward until hopefully he can make it back to the Cardinals.
And Jimmy, just to follow this up, felt pretty good today. No side effects, nothing wrong there.
The exact words, he's feeling pretty good, and Danny, I'll take that.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you, Jimbo.
I mean, they can't rush him and have him throw like every other day to speed it up?
Not yet, Jimmy. That's line to short. 4 up and 4 down for Montgomery.
Every 3rd day.
I just want to see him come out, be healthy, and know that he can contribute at some point this year, but understand that there is a healthy Jack Flaherty looking forward to next season.
Yeah, that's the key. I mean, you see all these young kids, but, you know, with Jordan and Alex and then Jack, I mean, there's some serious talent right there. It's just staying healthy is so tough. Some of these guys, just mechanics-wise, or if you have once you have a breakdown, you know, other parts of you work on that part of your body, and then another part of your body breaks down. There was a while back that I remember that a lot of guys that were either having shoulder or Tommy John, when they came back, they had the opposite because of the workage of that area, and then the other parts get weak, and so they end up hurting something else. I think Mike James, actually, when he was playing with us, ran into one of those, and he had a shoulder problem, and then when he came back, I think he ended up having like Tommy John because his elbow, you know, shoulders got so much stronger, and vice versa. But that's being a pitcher is tough, and you got to tip your hat. These guys go out there like warriors. It's no joke what this body goes through when they're doing what they're doing every night.
3-0 the count on Hunter Renfroe, picked up from the Red Sox for Jackie Bradley Jr., part of that deal, who since has been released by Boston here in the last week. He's got the green light on 3-0 and 1 home run shy of 20. Taking there 3-1.
A pitch right there is going to be tough to be put in play, especially in the air. If you can stay there, that cross-firing and down, you can go out and in with that and mix in a breaking ball. You're going to be successful as long as you stay ahead.
And the 3-1 pitch. Base hit against the shift. And Milwaukee has their first hit of the night. Reminder, check out MLB.tv to see every out-of-market game. Live on your computer, your phone, stats, highlights, and so much more. It's MLB.tv. And right now for just $64.99. Here's Keston Hiura. Past 11 games, 4 home runs, and driven in 7. Last time that Milwaukee was here, he put one into Big Mac land. He can hit. It's been a question of trying to figure out a position for him. He's drafted as a middle infielder and now playing first base, many times DH as well. The short lead at first by Renfroe. And the 0-1 pitch by Montgomery. Line to short, DeYoung there.
Let's say if you get drafted as a middle infielder and you're playing first base DH, there's pretty much nowhere else to go for you but there. Better keep swinging it.
I was going to say, best position, batter's box.
Yes.
Luis Urias hitting .231 with 12 home runs, and he's driven in 38. Luke Frazier is helping us out tonight here in the booth. Luke is from Alabama, big Cardinal fan, and we're lucky enough to have his presence here and his great knowledge of Cardinal baseball. So 2 outs and a runner at first and a pitch taken high. Montgomery's not allowed more than 3 runs in 18 of the 22 starts. We talked about that earlier. The fact is, he was keeping the Yankees in games, and the Cardinals were thrilled that this potential deal came to fruition. They needed pitching, and they got it. And the 1-0 pitch. Taken for a ball outside. At the time of that deal, he was among the American League leaders in innings pitched, starts, opponent's batting average at .236. Doesn't give up many home runs. It gives you a chance to win.
And you're talking about pitching in New York?
Exactly.
Not very many home runs. That's tough to do.
And a 2-1 pitch to Luis Urias. High fly ball out to center fielder Dylan Carlson. Under it. Has it. Milwaukee strands a runner. We're midway through 2-0 Cardinals. St. Louis Cardinals baseball on Bally Sports Midwest, brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. By Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. And by Car Shield. Car Shield cars go farther. You pointed it out earlier, Jimmy. The fact is, you got Tommy Edman hitting behind Albert Pujols. Unique looking lineup tonight.
It is. And, you know, you can look at it a bunch of different ways, like, wow, he's not protecting him. But also at the same time, Tommy can go nuts at any time, too, especially being a switch hitter. Probably right now, the right side being his better side. And then if anything goes on with Tommy, you got the resurgence of DeYoung, which I love, by the way.
It's great to see. Good for him and good for this team. And when he comes up, I want to pick your brain on what you're seeing with Paul DeYoung, and you're so good at picking up little things with a hitter and those at bats, and we'll talk about it when he comes up. The 2-1 hit the other way, and it's lined into the glove of Hunter Renfroe.
That ball's scorched.
The Kia player profile since his return from AAA, 297, but 9 extra base hits, and he's driven in 13. And that's a look at your Kia player profile. So how's he doing it, Jimmy? What are you seeing?
Well, I think kind of like Tyler O'Neill when he started struggling, he tried to force the ball to right field. And you could see right there, it's good to let the ball get deep and travel, but you can't get out of the way of your hands. You have to, everything's got to stay there. And you can actually, I was talking to Paulie one day and I said, you know, you don't have to hit the ball away to right field. You can go out and attack. You just can't be jumpy. And so you have to just kind of stay consistent and go at the ball as far as not going forward, but towards the plate. And what some of these guys were doing were kind of just opening up with the hips so they can kind of get there. And this is a really good example, and it's, unless you really know a lot about golf, they tell you how when you come down with golf, you want to get that elbow tucked in tight, you know, and kind of go out and back down and under, you know, an inside out swing. That's kind of the same thing with baseball, but that's the wrong way if your body moves. And so that's what guys were doing. They're trying to pull their hands inside first instead of just letting the ball travel. And it's almost like you're trying to manipulate the ball to right field and not hit it over there. And I thought he got caught up in that a little bit too much. And I think the same thing for Tyler O'Neill. You can see his front hip want to move, and he wants to stay on the ball and almost stay on it too long. Every now and then you just got to go out there and yank.
So the base hit for DeYoung. And now it's Yadier Molina with a single to left by DeYoung. Edman lined out to right. And the 1-0 pitch to Molina. Fouled back. We just get the feeling that being back at home and the end is not that far away when you think about it for Molina and Albert Pujols. But they're going to feed off the energy of this crowd. There is no doubt about it. This place is going to be packed more times than not here down the stretch.
Yeah, we've had some big crowds lately too, haven't we? How about the Yankee series?
It's awesome.
I was watching a little bit on TV, and you and Brad were working. I think Brad was trying to take my job because he hasn't let me work in like 2 weeks. But did I hear that they said Saturday when the Yankees were in town was the biggest crowd we've ever had here?
Biggest ever.
Including World Series
Everything.
And All-Star Game. I thought that was impressive. They were showing people standing out in the back on the rails, like trying to look over the top of everyone in the outfield looking back. Talking about standing room only.
Our assistant tonight, Luke Frazier, met with Ollie before the game, and he said, well, what's that like
standing
to
room only right there.
manage when you have a crowd that big? Remember, Luke? And Ollie said, well, you feel a little pressure. Nice play as Adames goes out and makes that catch. But Ollie said, hey, you feel pressure to perform when you have crowds like that. And I said to Ollie, well, just don't screw it up then.
Well, yeah, and on top of that, if you know, Luke, if you think about it, it's not just the crowd here. The entire city is on your back every day watching these games, and that's the kind of pressure that you feel when you're a player in this city. And everywhere you go, people are asking you, hey, how are you going to be? How you doing? How's our team going to be? I'm still getting that question, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm not playing. Like, all I can do is just stand up here and kind of talk about it. But it's nonstop.
Ollie was saying, though, it was the kind of pressure that you love.
I loved it.
Said it's great.
You know what's really the funny part about it is, Danny, if you just go out there and play your butt off, that's all they care about. You're not going to be good all the time. But if you hustle and you play hard and defense, you can play defense.
Oh, in this city, that's, yeah.
You're not always going to hit. But if you play hard, that's all they care about.
2 outs and a runner at first. 1 ball, 1 strike on Newbar, who's hitting .239. And he looks like a different hitter since the All-Star break.
Same kind of thing. You know, his balance is better. You're starting to feel it right before the All-Star break. You see that little, you can see, it's just like when you see guys take pitches. You can see the way they finish, if they're balanced or not. That right there, not balanced, but that's understandable versus a lefty like this. But when you see guys take swings like that against a righty that doesn't have a lot of special stuff, you're thinking, okay, something's wrong. My balance is off. Why is it off? But facing a tough lefty, I get it, but you can't be that way every night. You got to find out why.
1-2 the count with 2 outs. And a runner at first. That's DeYoung, who singled to left with 1 out here in this home half of the second inning. Big shift for Newbar in the 1-2 pitch. High chopper. Tough play. Got him. Adames makes that play. The slick shortstop of Milwaukee, and it's 2-0. Roberto Clemente Foundation and Cardinals Care teaming up. One lucky winner will take home half of the total jackpot, and the other half will go to the Roberto Clemente Foundation and Cardinals Care. Tickets at cardinals.com/50/50. Third inning rolls in, and it's a 2-0 St. Louis lead on a home run hit by Goldie. Here's the switch hitting Victor Caratini. We're hoping at some point tonight to visit with the newest member of baseball's Hall of Fame and a member of the 1982 World Championship Club, Jim Cott. Played a long time and had to wait a long time to get into the Hall of Fame.
Have not seen him yet today, but waiting to see him and all of his gold gloves.
16 of them.
16 or 17, right?
It was 16 in a row, maybe.
He brought them all with him today.
It's a lot of hard work.
In one big suitcase. You don't realize how big those things are. It's not just a glove. It's a massive trophy.
And the 0-2 pitch to Caratini. Fly ball out to left, and a sinking liner that is caught. While we have a moment, quick word from Tickets for Less.
Tickets for Less, for a better ticketing experience. Best seats, best prices, and no surprises at checkout.
There's Tyrone Taylor. Good numbers here at Busch Stadium this year, hitting .333. Leadoff single by Caratini. Taylor, the 9th place batter. And a shift on the left side. Short lead at first by Caratini. First pitch by Montgomery is fouled away. I think longevity actually wind up hurting Jim Cott. You say, now, why would you say that? Well, he wasn't able to get to the 300 wins. And then you say, well, he played decade and a half. He appeared in 4 different decades. But yet he was used differently in his career, especially here in St. Louis with the 82 club. Whitey brought him in, wanted him to be that lefty specialist, and he was outstanding. And I still believe, Jimmy, there's a good chance that Keith Hernandez could wind up in Cooperstown too. Recently had his number retired by the Mets. And the 0-2 pitch. And Keith is in town tonight. He does broadcasting with the Mets.
I saw him in the background of the on the big screen up there a minute ago.
And he decided, he said, well, I got one weekend I can take off. Either I'm going to be for the 82 reunion or the Cardinals Hall of Fame weekend. And he's here for 82 to see his former teammates.
I think that's understandable. That's pretty cool, actually. You don't get to see your teammates that much.
Swing and a miss, and strikeout number 2 from Jordan Montgomery.
That's what I'm talking about. You start dotting up that fastball down and in, down and away with velocity. And then there's that angle on that breaking pitch.
So 1 out and a runner at first. Yelich lines it out to left. O'Neill is there to make the catch. And the batter will be Willy Adames.
The ball just stayed up, didn't it? I mean, that's what I'm talking about with Yelich. That's the Yelich that we got to see when he got really hot when he first got to Milwaukee. I mean, you couldn't throw him anything in or out. It just, hopefully he would, you know, it's like going back with those Kirby Puckett and Tony Gwynns and those guys. Like, you just hope he kind of just missed the ball. Just throw it and hopefully he just hits it at somebody.
The one year, the Cardinals couldn't get him out.
No, it was insane.
Yes. And now this year, I think he's 8 for 42 against St. Louis.
That's what he gets for all those homers he hit. I
think
that
so.
Year. Would have been rolling the ball up there that year to him. Let it bounce it.
It was almost to the point you thought about like the Bonds treatment.
Yeah,
with Yelich.
Yeah.
He's not homered since July 2nd at Pittsburgh, so that's 128 plate appearances without a home run for Yelich, and he's got 8 this year. And the 1-1 pitch to Willy Adames. 2-1. We talked about how teams love defense here in St. Louis, and the fans love it. That 82 team, Oberkfell, Ozzie Smith, Tommy Herr, Keith Hernandez on the infield. It's one of the great infields ever defensively. A little bit high, and it's 3-1.
That was the pitch he needed right there. You can see the hitter also at that point. Adames, he got started late. You could see if that ball gets in there underneath his hands, he doesn't have a chance to get to that fastball.
And the 3-1 pitch to Adames way inside, and that'll be the 2-out walk.
Yeah, I think the whole thing with Yelich too is like that first year over there, you're excited to be traded. I mean, you're talking 326, 36 and 100, and 10 RBIs, and then follow it up with 329, 44 and 97. It's pretty impressive.
Got a big deal too, and it's one of the things that they have to have right. I mean, I realize most teams need contracts to work out. Don't get me wrong, but when you're in that market,
but
got to hit on it.
What I always tell you about your body, when you're hot is when you feel the worst with your body. And think about what he did for those 2 years. And the next year, played 58 games. I know it was 2020. But the way you feel, even though with going through the COVID situation, he's never been the same since. Only 117 games last year. It just nothing, just the power numbers weren't there. And the swing is just different, and probably the COVID situation might be one of those things that can really hurt you.
For sure.
Like talk about going into an all-star break or going into the offseason hot. And you just kind of, it's mental. It's like you think, oh, everything will be fine. And you start over and it's just not there. And then I'll tell you what, the biggest thing for me every winter was the anxiety of being good again. And that's that was the driving force behind the winters for me.
One and two the count. The next two, McCutchen fouled back. What do they always say? It's easy to get here. It's tough to stay.
It's like my dad used to tell me. It's easy to make money. It's hard to keep it. I don't know if it's easy to make money, Dad, if you're listening.
Say, did you really?
But it is hard to keep it. That is true. They both kind of count in different ways.
Here's a 1-2 pitch again to McCutchen with 2 runners on. Ground ball hit to short to Young. A flip and a forced play at second. Coming up, the newest member of baseball's Hall of Fame. Jim Cott will be our guest. Looking forward to this. Cardinals with a lead over Milwaukee as we celebrate the 1982 World Championship Club. And it's great to finally say this. Hall of Famer Jim Cott. Awesome to see you. Thank you for doing this, too.
Thank you so much. What a thrill to be back in the best baseball town in America. I don't say that disrespectfully, but it's like a small town that there's no baseball place like St. Louis.
What's it like now to say Hall of Famer Jim Cott? Congratulations.
Well, when I had my picture taken in the museum in front of this big wall picture with the first 9 inductees, Walter Johnson and Babe Ruth, Ty Cobb, and the guide said, well, what did you think about when you had your picture taken there? I said, my first thought, Eric, what am I doing here?
But you had a long time to think about it, Jim.
Yeah,
Too long.
Wow. It's been quite a ride since actually last December.
I remember when we were having dinner with Tim McCarver a couple of years ago in spring training, and we were talking about you going to the Hall of Fame. I didn't believe you then, but I'm going to ask you again. Did you ever think it was going to happen? You were kind of like, I don't worry about it.
I really had it in my my rearview mirror, and Mike Schmidt, my friend and teammate, was on the committee, and he said, I'm really going to state your case this year. And so I had guys like Fergie Jenkins that were very supportive, and it was worth the wait, I'll tell you that.
Was it like you thought it might be?
And times 10.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's...
A chopper off the bat of Carlson, hustling down the line and safe. Beats it out in a throw from the third baseman, Brasso. Well, in what way, Jim? What was it like that just surprised you or took you back?
I think I guess the magnitude of the attention. I'm telling you, I was watching this play here. The players today are so much more athletic than we were. From seeing Nolan Arenado. Now, I've said to my friend Mike Schmidt, you're the greatest third baseman I ever played with. And then Scott Rowland was good. Nobody plays third base like Nolan Arenado.
You watch Brooks, Mike, Rowland.
Yeah.
You think he's the best?
I think that Nolan...
As O'Neill hits a fly ball to left fielder Christian Yelich. One away.
When they talk about, and I've seen him at several Gold Glove dinners in the offseason, when they talk about the greatest player in the game today, they mention Mike Trout, they'll mention others, but a lot of these guys are hurt. I said Nolan Arenado hits 300, hits a bunch of home runs, knocks in 100, plays the best defense. He is right there with the greatest all-around players in the game today.
Well, he's putting together a Hall of Fame career and a resume, and quietly, so is this guy right here at the plate, Paul Goldschmidt.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think it's great, Jim, that you're back, obviously, to celebrate 1982, but you have got your hand in the game of baseball, whether it's with the Minnesota Twins or doing some broadcasting. So when you make a statement like that, it's not just shooting from the hip. You're watching these guys all the time.
Yeah, I've played with a lot of great ones and seen some, but yeah, Nolan is special. You mentioned our friend Tim McCarver, and I was so honored that Tim, who was slipping a little health-wise, but he came to the Twins party on Saturday, came to the induction, and I was so honored by that.
He's the best.
Yes, he is. He's been a great friend for 35 years.
Feel the same way. 0-1 pitch, and that's outside, but called a strike. Goldie didn't like it, and it's 0-2. What's it like seeing all the team back together again?
Oh, tell you, we had an afternoon. It was just like being in the clubhouse.
Is that just pick right back up?
Yeah, Keith Hernandez was there, and John Stupert, on and on. It was guys I hadn't really seen in 40 years, like
Amazing.
Steve Mura. Oh, it's just an unbelievable feeling. And the fact that, I said in my induction speech, the most exciting year I had in baseball, on the most exciting team I ever played on, was the 1982 St. Louis Cardinals. And those guys helped me be able to wear this ring right here, which is what we play for. So they mean so much to me.
Here's a 1-2 pitch to Goldschmidt. Now check on the runner at first, Dylan Carlson. I mentioned earlier that the 82 team, and there's Willie McGee, one of our favorites, still a fan favorite here in town, but the infield of Oberkfell, Smith, Hernandez, it's one of the great infields ever.
No question. And what was so exciting about being on that team,
as Carlson reads it on his way to second. And a man in scoring position for Goldie.
And I'm sure the St. Louis fans that have followed it, know that, but we only hit 67 home runs. We stole 200 bases.
I was just mentioning that earlier, too.
And Whitey used to say every game, get me 10 singles. And Willie would get a single, and the next thing you know, he's on third. And then we had the guy named Bruce Sutter down at the end of the game. So,
pretty good.
Oh, man, it was so much fun to be a part of that team.
All right, I'm going to put you on the spot. Does Keith Hernandez join you in Cooperstown?
I think someday he will, because now people are starting to look at more than just the raw numbers. Talking to
the strikeout of Goldie.
Yeah, didn't like it. Got a little benefit of the borderline pitch in the outside corner. Yeah, I think Keith played more games, I believe, in the 80s than any other player. So I think the more they delve into these statistics, the more they're finding out really what a force he was. And I never played with anyone that was so intense on every pitch.
Is that right?
Every play. I mean, he was so into the game.
I think he's the best defensive first baseman ever.
Yeah, I think
this is popped up by Arenado, and it almost dropped. Hira was there, and so is the catcher, and that's Caratini making the play. You stay with us for a half inning?
Sure, happy to.
Jim Cutt, the Hall of Famer, is with us, 2-0. Championship Club back here in St. Louis, and the Hall of Famer Jim Cutt has been kind enough to join us here in the booth and mention again, congratulations on the Hall of Fame. We see Willie McGee down there, by the way.
Yeah.
Now, that had to be fun to watch him in that rookie season and then emerge on the biggest stage against Milwaukee. Had to be.
We were talking this afternoon at the hotel where we all gathered. As you can imagine, it was quite a festive couple of hours. And
thanks for being here, too.
Yeah, talking about how important Willie was to that team. When we got him from the Yankees for Bob Sykes, the Yankees had plenty of outfielders. I think Reggie was still there then, and they just had no idea what they were giving up. But man, what a year! And then I saw the highlights. What a World Series he had! Fantastic.
The only problem is that he's always bragging about himself.
Yeah. You know, Willie used to hit a home run, sprints around the bases, come sit on the bench. I go sit next to him. I said, Willie, take your time. You can trot around the base. He said, Kitty, that pitcher feels bad enough. I don't even want him to know who hit the home run.
It sounds just like Willie.
Yeah.
Now, what did Whitey Herzog do for Jim Cott in your career at that point?
Well, I had started some games in 1981 and did quite well. And I thought, well, I like starting. So the deal I had with Whitey is after every year I'd go in and say, White Rat, because he and I were teammates, briefly in the late 50s. What do you think about next year? He said, I want you back to be my lefty-on-lefty guy out of the bullpen. He said, I'm going to build my staff from the ninth inning back. I got Bruce Sutter, Doug Bear, who's here today, hard thrower, Jeff Lottie, great slider. You're going to be my lefty guy. And that was a lot of fun, obviously, because we got a World Series ring, but coming to the park every day, different than a starter, knowing I could be in there today in a key moment or two.
So as much baseball that you were around and that you played in, the smarts of Whitey Herzog, they're just exceptional, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. I think Whitey, and some people might be surprised at this, but the other brilliant game manager was Billy Martin.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. Billy had, boy, how did the Yankees give this guy up?
We were just talking about that, too.
My goodness. Yeah. I mean, he, as you've seen him pitch, he doesn't wow you with explosive stuff, but he's got 4 pitches, pretty good command of all of them. Yeah, he's a pitcher.
And now all of a sudden you come out of the AL East in this division, in this ballpark. It's big.
Yeah.
A lot of pluses.
You don't have that little league right field porch like
no,
Yankee Stadium has.
So Billy Martin and Whitey, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, Whitey, and it's interesting that you have 2 players who are not star players, but they were those guys that sat on the bench and figured out how the game was being played, and I think that's what made them good managers.
Seems like catchers would do that too.
Yes, right. Yep.
But then lefty specialists like you, Jim, that's why you're in the booth after your playing career is done and not in uniform and managing.
Right. Yeah. Especially today, I don't think with the analytics I'd last too long.
Well, you've got an opinion, and a very educated opinion, and it is amazing. I mean, it's 2 times through and starters are done, and you better have a good bullpen. If not, there's going to be some long nights.
I remember Warren Spahn. I got a pitching lesson from him and a lot of young people today. Who's Warren Spahn? Well, he's one of the greatest lefties ever. And I had a lesson from him. He said, now, kid, when the game's tied in the 7th inning, the game's just starting.
Is that right?
You got to learn to pitch Mickey Mantle differently in that 4th at bat.
That's great.
Yeah, today they don't have to do that.
No. Who was your biggest influence?
Johnny Sane.
Yeah?
Yeah, Johnny, he couldn't black your eye from 60 feet with his best fastball. But
Really?
He came out of the service. He won 20 games 4 years. He just taught us about the art of pitching. We invited contact.
Sure.
Whereas today,
swing and miss.
Every pitch is designed to have the hitter swing and miss, and every swing is designed to hit it out of the park.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that's like you were saying before, the 67 home runs, the 200 stolen bases of the 82 team, and your defense was second to none on the turf of Busch Stadium. Here's a 3-2 pitch, and that's popped foul out of play.
One of the subtle things, Dan, about that team, we were talking about it today, and I think maybe this gets lost, but Lonnie Smith played left field.
Skates.
He was not known as a good outfielder, but
you're being kind right now, Jim.
There were so many balls hit down the left field line that were singles that Lonnie Smith got over to the line, cut it off, threw it into second, and held the hitter to a single. Ground ball, Ozzie to her to Keith, double play.
Yep.
So little things like that team did that made us a better team than some of the more powerful teams.
How about Ozzie, when you watched him day in and day out on that turf of Busch Stadium? I mean, you obviously knew he was a very good defensive player. Then he comes here and just bursts onto the scene after the trade with the Padres. And that's hit to short right on cue, and Paul DeYoung has it. But what did you take away in watching Ozzie?
Well, my first lesson was as a pitcher, and on the turf, of course, the ball comes at you pretty quickly. And I had a man on first, ball hit back at me, I missed it. So you go to back up third because I think the runner's going to third, and I turn around and it's a 6-4-3 double play.
Unreal.
And that's kind of what wowed me about wow. That's
the athleticism.
Yeah.
Yes. The family of Bob Forsch is in attendance.
Yes, they are.
Which is great. His daughters are here. I was looking the other day, the amount of great talent on the 82 team. You now are part of the Hall of Fame. Whitey. You've got Keith Hernandez, a Cardinal Hall of Famer. Tommy Herr, Cardinal Hall of Famer. Willie, Cardinal Hall of Famer. Ozzie, a Baseball Hall of Famer. I mean, it's a pretty good talent on that 82 team, boy.
It was a very athletic team. And, like, I remember I had a farm in Pennsylvania at the time because I played with Philadelphia. So I was driving into the park with Schmitty, Mike Schmidt, and he said, boy, I'm worried about those Expos. They got Carter and Dawson and Valentine, and they had a powerful team.
Yeah.
I said, Schmitty, you better worry about us. We don't make any mistakes in the field. Got the best defense going, and we got Bruce Sutter at the end of the game.
And Sutter was just amazing. The split finger, the story behind it's incredible. I didn't see, is Bruce back here?
He was in Cooperstown. He's struggling
he
a little
go there.
bit. We're hoping he comes in tomorrow. Yeah.
Great.
I saw him in Cooperstown. I was honored that he came there to support me. Been such a great friend and a big part of Cardinal baseball.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Keston Hiura. Inside corner, and he got him. Jim, I'm thrilled for you. You know that.
Dan.
It's
Thank
awesome.
You so much.
So well deserved.
Pleasure being with you. Thank you.
Got it. Jim Cott, the Baseball Hall of Famer, celebrating 1982. We'll celebrate the 40th anniversary of the 82 club tomorrow. Players, staff taking part in a pregame parade, a ceremony, first pitch, and you're going to see it live right here. Pregame coverage tomorrow, 5:30, Valley Sports Midwest. Here's Albert Pujols. Our thanks to Jim Cott for stopping by. Albert lined out to second, first time up. And it was a hard hit ball, the 0-1 pitch. 0-2. Albert, since the break, third in the National League in average, third in OBP, sixth in slug. That may surprise some folks when you say those numbers. Now, not playing every day, but still doing a ton of damage against the lefties in a 4-hit night in Game 2 against the Rockies.
I don't think you're going to surprise any of the people that are listening to us, but maybe people on the West Coast.
I think so.
You know what I did when you were talking to Mr. Cott?
Tell me what you did.
I did my very first inning of radio.
Did you?
Yeah.
And how was it?
It was very interesting.
Was it enjoyable?
I don't know if I would call it enjoyable because I was really kind of just trying to figure it out.
I would imagine you wowed him.
No. I was very quiet.
August 28th, and that's a Sunday. 25,000 fans ages 16 and older take home a mystery Hall of Fame car parade bobblehead. Thanks to Ford. You might get Willie, you might get Jim Edmonds. Sunday, August 28th. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotions.
Is that me? That's not me.
That's what the promo says right there. You could get Willie or
I heard you, but Brian, our producer, was yelling in my ear, so I had to do a double take. Like the tie.
So you're going to be a part of the
That's cool.
Hall of Fame car parade bobblehead.
Interesting.
Sunday, August 28th. Here's Tommy Edman. And the 1-0 pitch. Ground ball. Backhanded. Out number 2. Who were you working with over on the radio side?
You know, the two usual guys over there. Just
a little 3-man weave, huh?
Yeah, it was over there. It was Claves and Ricky.
Nice.
You know, it was interesting as I started looking for the TV, and I realized, like, there's no point in even looking at the monitor.
Oh, you just watch the field.
Yeah, because the people can't see what we're seeing either. So quickly realized that.
And some folks at home may say, now, come on. But that actually is true.
Well, and I've got a quick introduction to it, too, because Ricky was saying that your kind of replay is basically describing what Claiborne was just talking about. So kind of how I do play off of you, but also we're showing the replay for the folks and we're just talking about it. There you're kind of just reiterating what Claibs has just talked about, which was a little different. Like I said, you might as well just put the monitor down.
Put it down and describe what you see.
Don't need it. Yep.
And the 1-2 pitch. And it's 2-2.
That frightens me even more now when I think about how you learned some days when Mr. Buck just said, "Here, I'll be back."
Tore up my notes, turned around and said, "Go get him."
I'm going to leave you here for a couple innings. I'll see you later.
Swing and a miss. And the 4th strikeout for Lauer. And we head to inning number 5, and it's 2-0.
Asked a lot about the grinding motion the Cardinals make after getting on base sometimes. So here's the background. Lars Newbart told me it started in July. He says it's a pepper grinder because at this point you're grinding out every at-bat. Newbart says Andrew Kisner started it, but most people have seen Newt doing it. Kiz told me Newt's been hot and he's been on base a ton. He's definitely grinding it out, and that's what we want our identity to be. Danny, the pepper grinder, not related to Salt Bay.
Good call, Jimmy. And by the way, I was talking with Skip and Ollie the other day. I said, "What in the heck is Newbart doing?" He said, "We're grinding it out." I said, "Okay." That's what they said, ball game. Thank you, Cat.
That was a good one, Cat. I was wondering where you were going with that at the beginning, but I like it.
We almost had Rally Salt Bay in Boston. You ever eaten? I guarantee you've had Salt Bay, Jimmy. That's the kind of restaurant you go to.
I haven't been to Boston since the World Series, and I don't think I stepped foot out of the hotel. The hotel that we stayed at that was 114 miles out of town?
Yes, sir.
And it was 12 degrees. I didn't go very far.
The first out here in the 5th off the bat of Urias.
And before that, I don't think I had been there since '97.
Well, Salt Bay was down in Miami. But I can't remember how it got brought up in Boston, but we had Rally Salt Bay.
Oh, I've missed a lot the last couple weeks.
I'm telling you. Here's Victor Caratini, who snapped an 0 for 11 with a base hit back in the 3rd. It was a single to left in that 3rd inning. Jim Cott said, "How did the Yankees give up this guy?" when he's watching Montgomery.
Probably reminded of himself.
It's pretty good.
Tall, lanky left-hander.
And the 1-0 pitch. 2 balls and no strikes.
I do love guys like this, though, if they can command the fastball and get on top of it. Reminds me, the angle. It's like, it reminds me a little bit of when Waka was young. He had that good down angle on the fastball and very hard to pick up the split. And he kind of lost that for a while. Think about Mark Mulder when he was younger. The ability to get on top of the baseball at that height is something special, and it's Randy Johnson. There's not very many guys, and if you can command the ball down with that down there, there's not much you really. It's the angle. It's not the pitch. It's the angle with the bat angle and all that coming together. It's a very tough pitch to elevate, and I think it's a tough pitch to square up. And I guarantee you that the majority of his problems have been when the ball's been up in the zone. Clearly, that's everyone's problem, but there's something special when you're this tall.
The 2-2 pitch. Also like how he's getting in on the righties. Crossfires just a little bit.
Yeah, that crossfire plus the angle. That's a double angle, basically down and in. Not fun. That's why, as a right-hander, you don't know what to do. Do I try to cheat and pull it? Or do I try to stay inside it?
That's right. And a line drive that'll get down into the gap in right center. All the way to the wall, and Victor Caratini is 2 for 2. Only the third hit allowed by Jordan Montgomery.
This is what I'm talking about right here. Victor Caratini does a nice job of staying inside the ball, but he gets the ball up in the middle of the zone. And so not trying to do too much with it in case it is down, and just puts barrel on the ball and it finds a gap. That's a good piece of hitting right there. As you try to overdo something like that and foul that pitch off, you've pretty much written your at bat off because you're not getting another one of those.
Nope. So the 1-out double, and now it's Taylor. The check swing did not go. Taylor struck out swinging first time up.
So that was a lot closer than it appeared. See guys like to cheat, you know. You're trying to get that first fastball.
By the way, with his appearance tonight, Albert Pujols playing in game number 3035, and he passes Ty Cobb for sole possession of 5th all time. Lined into left and a base hit. Caratini had to make sure that ball got through. It does. And runners at the corners now for Milwaukee with just 1 out. Well, we have a moment. Quick word from Academy Sports and Outdoors.
With our free in-store assembly and pre-assembled grills and smokers, buy online at academy.com and pick up in-store. So keep those grilling plans at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Well, Montgomery has been good with runners in scoring position. Just a .225 average against him. It's the top of the lineup in Yelich, who was called out on strikes and also lined out to left. Runners at the corners and 1 down. Pretty quick to the plate too, Jimmy. Just a slide step and delivers.
Yeah, there's not much to it. And it was funny, they were talking over there on the radio about, you know, what do you prefer as far as pitching and hitting? See a guy out of the windup and the stretch, or just a guy out of the stretch all the time? I said it really doesn't matter to me. I would think it'd be pitcher's preference, and for me, I think you would lose a little bit of momentum having to go just out of the stretch all the time. But that's kind of what the big leagues is all about. You get away from overthrowing and more pinpoint control.
When you talk to the pitching coaches, they say, well, it shouldn't matter.
Yeah,
you know, with velocity and
but you get more. I mean, from my experience, you
absolutely
get, like
from a windup
from the outfield. You know, can you imagine if you were just going to catch the ball and throw it versus, you know, coming charging and getting a little crow hop and throw.
And the 0-2 pitch to Yelich from Montgomery. It's a good pitch there on 0-2.
See if you can chase a little bit.
Yelich has grounded into 8 double plays. Montgomery has induced 9. The Cardinals as a team with 106 ground ball double plays turned. Runners at first and third in the 1-2 pitch. He's trying to get him to chase, and he's not offering at it.
That's the thing here, though. You can't get too caught up in that, you know, once, maybe twice, but now you've just kind of given the momentum back to the hitter here, and you got to make a pitch. Now you don't want to go to 3-2.
The 2-2. It's 3 pitches. He's gone right there. That's what he struck him out on earlier in the game.
Oh, and that's what a good hitter does. He'll start looking for the pitches that you get him out with.
And the 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, and he struck him out.
You see that right there? He's late. He was thinking breaking ball. He was trying to protect and got the fastball. And he just threw it right by him. I mean, it's not even close. And that's what you got to do as a hitter. You got to pick one or the other.
And now it's Adames who is flied to center and also walked. Big strikeout there with 1 out, and now 2 away and 2 on. The first to Willie Adames is popped foul and out of play. It is another big crowd here tonight for the first of 3 against Milwaukee. Fun to see it get back the way it was. These big crowds here at Busch Stadium. The 0-1. Jimmy, if I never see a cardboard cutout of a fan, I'll be just fine.
We've gone a long way from that cardboard cutout. Some fake fan noise.
Fred Bird and the Big Mac land. Ironing and fishing. Painting.
That is good stuff.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Check swing. Did not go.
I was going to say that looked like a strike with the pitch. You got both here. Good pitch. Oof. Too much break.
Fred Bird taking a bath one day in Big Mac land.
Was it the day that he was painting and somebody hit the ball up there?
That'd been Bader. 2-2.
Was it painting? Is that what he was doing?
Yeah. He was.
Had his little easel up there?
He's Fred Ross. Or Bob Ross. That was against Milwaukee, and he could try to do that 1,000,000 times again, and it'll never happen. 2-2 the count. And the next to Willie Adames. Instead of check on the runner. Montgomery is allowed 4 base hits. Cardinals have been out hit 4-3, but they lead it 2-0 on a first inning 2-run homer by Goldschmidt. Cardinals have won 8 straight here at home. The recent homestand, a sweep over Chicago and the Yankees. And a 2-2 pitch by Montgomery. Pulled foul. That's the third base coach, Jason Lane. Quentin Berry is the first base coach for Craig Counsell's club. And a 2-2 pitch by Montgomery. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts. So with 1 out, runners at first and third, he strikes out Yelich. And now he gets Adames. And it's 2-0 St. Louis. First Responders Appreciation Night at the ballpark is August 17th and the 18th. It's a Wednesday and a Thursday. Purchase of a themed ticket. Receive an exclusive Cardinals First Responders hat representing their choice of law enforcement, fire, or EMS. And tickets at cardinals.com/theme. Here's Yadier Molina. And that pitch pulled foul. Has it hit these guys yet, Jimmy, in your opinion, Yadi and Albert, that this is the stretch run? You're under 2 months away.
No, I don't think so. I don't think you think about it at all until the very end.
Probably right, I guess. Hangs up there for a long time, and that'll be Yelich with the catch.
Yeah, I think you
stay in the moment.
Yeah, I mean, that's a cliche, but I've been there and done that a little bit, and I remember, like, I never really thought, oh, this is my last time here, this is my last time there. You're kind of playing for something, and you just kind of just play, you know. It's like I mean, there's some places you're not going to miss, on the road and stuff. But, yeah, I think it just kind of hits you at the end. And to be honest with you, I guarantee you at some point this year.
Nootbaar drops down a beauty. Lauer, no chance. Lauer went between his legs, by the way, with the glove to get the ball and then spin and throw.
Yeah, I guarantee you that doesn't make their manager happy throwing the ball like that. That could have been a double right there for sure.
All-State mayhem moment, and the bunt.
This is a great bunt. Yeah, I don't think Craig Counsell will be too excited when he's watching this play right here.
So the Cardinals pick up their 4th hit of the night to match Milwaukee. And the top on the lineup, and Dylan Carlson. Nootbaar leaning at first, and that pitch taken for a ball.
That's going to be one of those things when you come into the dugout, and it's like kind of one of 3 things. It's don't do that again. I don't ever want to see that again. Or that was unnecessary. And you just know it. You're manager, you're just like, oh, what is he going to say?
A swing and a miss. Carlson.
Or the last one would be, you're lucky you didn't throw that away.
That's what he
that
did
would have been the last one.
Dylan with a walk and a run scored in the home run hit by Goldie, and then the single in the 3rd inning. One out and a runner at first base, and a 1-1 pitch. Foul back.
When I first came out there, they'd be like, did you get that? Did you put that? Did that go between your legs and then you threw it? And you'd be like, yeah, did you see it? Don't ever do that again. And walk away with like the nastiest look you've ever seen.
Tony with the Rick Ankiel throws.
Even before that. Wow, back in the day, I'm telling you.
3rd bunt hit for Nootbaar this season. He's at first. Extends his home on base streak to 14 games. Off the plate, evens it up at 2-2. And time was called.
What I was saying was, I think during the course of the year has already happened, and I'm sure it's going to happen again. But both of those guys at some point are going to think, you know what, I might be able to do this again.
As Carlson drops to a knee and
nasty
strikeout, that's number 5. But then what do you do with all the gifts that they're getting?
You do what Buddy Bates did, and you just keep using them, and just come do your thing and keep working it. I remember we gave Buddy he was our clubhouse guy, and he said he was retiring, and we gave him a truck and a boat and turned up at spring training, and there he was. Everyone said, wait, I thought he was retiring. He was like, no, he just wasn't going to be in the big leagues anymore. I'm like, oh, okay, that's where the money went.
It's been done time and again now, recently more than ever. Guy saying, I'm retired, and then, I'm not. Come on back. O'Neill tonight has been called out on strikes and flied out to left. Check on Nootbaar with 2 down. Two nothing our score in the home half of the 5th. And the 1-0 pitch inside, and it's 2-0. The 2-0 inside. Goldie on deck. O'Neill could make it 4-0 with 1 swing, but it's got to be his pitch. And he is due.
I think you have. This is one of those things where you just have to kind of dive out over the plate a little bit and try to yank one. I would say the opposite for most people, but he's been trying to stay inside too much.
The strike and a throw down to second. No one even at the bag. And Newbar, the stolen base, number 3.
That caught a few guys sleeping right there, didn't it?
Yep. Had a shift, and he was near the outfield grass, so no chance to get him.
The second baseman was like, am I supposed to cover?
A 3-1 pitch to O'Neill. First and second. And Goldie coming up. For the best coverage in the game, check out the T-Mobile coverage cam. Let's go pitch by pitch.
Check this out. First curveball, not even a flinch. He's a little bit behind 89. Watch the velocities, though. 94 ties him up. 95 away. What happens? He throws a cutter at 90 and does him a favor. I didn't realize earlier on, but he literally just took velocity away from tying him up and then missed right down the middle. No wonder he hit it 400 and whatever feet he hit it. But I thought that was an interesting at bat because you could see the first pitch, breaking ball. He doesn't even flinch. That tells you how locked in he is right there. Then you get 94, 95, and he's tied up a little bit. And then just a little cutter that doesn't move at 90, and it's right down the middle.
Goldie has barely even moved, just looking at the bat, maybe thinking, processing his approach.
That's when you're locked in the most, is when your balance is so good. And when your feet, when you feel your feet in the ground are kind of one, that's when you know, okay, I'm good. When you're digging in and you're trying to get settled and your feet don't feel right, your body doesn't feel right, it's tough, man. It's like you don't have a chance.
2 outs and 2 on. Ooh. Goldie has two home run games this year, both against the division. It's Pittsburgh here at home and then at Cincinnati. A home run already here tonight. And the 0-1 pitch. Arenado on deck. 1 ball, 1 strike. The 1-1. Yanked foul.
He just did it again. He overthrew a fastball, which doesn't do a lot of good, and then almost hung him a slider to kill. That's the thing with a lot of hitters in this league, you can get away with that. But especially when Goldie's hot. But he's a guy that stays up the middle playing just like Arenado does. So up the middle, up the middle, up the middle. So when you make the mistakes, they can hit it to right or left.
And the 1-2. Hit sharply. Urias to Hira. Cardinals strand a pair. They have left 4 on tonight. We played 5, and it's 2-0. Gordon Montgomery getting the start. Number 2 is a Cardinal here tonight. Both starts here at Busch Stadium. Pitching out of trouble last inning when he had runners at first and third and just 1 out. With his back-to-back strikeouts of Yelich and Adames. And he is your BJC Healthcare difference maker. It's McCutchen, Brasso, and Renfroe. 2-0 St. Louis. This guy's impressive, Jimmy.
I just think that, you know, like I said, with the stuff, the being how tall he is and with the down angle and the breaking ball, I think he's can be really good. Just got to stay down.
Works quickly for the most part, too.
I like that, too. And he's not really messing around. I mean, I think that, you know, the pitches to Yelich, I think that was smart. He was trying to get him to chase, and he's a good hitter. You only have a 2-run lead. He doesn't want to just give up a home run throwing a fastball down the middle. I thought that was smart. And then he knew at the end, he's like, man, I got to come with it, you know. And then he got Yelich looking for
maybe a breaking ball, and he threw it right past him. So he clearly was on the right page with Yadi. I think he's done a nice job.
The 2-1 pitch.
And he's been consistent right there. So yeah, that's not a strike. And you don't want that to be a strike as a hitter, but he's been throwing it in there, and it gets underneath you so fast. There's nothing you can do about it.
And a 2-2 pitch. Popped up and out of play. Four hits aside. Brewers have left 5 on. The Cardinals 4. 2-0 St. Louis. And a Goldschmidt 2-run homer in the first, his 28th of the year. He's driven in 89. Pitch number 91 of the night from Jordan Montgomery. On its way. Popped up. Goldie makes the catch in the first out. Just not seeing many hitters so far against him barrel up his fastball.
Well, that angle on that pitch is it's very hard to explain. It's almost like if someone threw something at you that you expected to go one way and it's coming at you. You know what it's like when whatever you're doing, if you have a child and you think he's going to do something and does something else and you just can't get out of the way of it. It's like, playing with your kids and they throw you a baseball and you think he's going to hit you in the chest and he throws right at your feet. You can't get out of the way of it. Same kind of thing. You're hoping the ball is going to be out over the plate for you to hit, but it's basically chasing you inside. And like I said, you have to make a decision. Am I going to try and stay inside it, or am I going to try and pull it? But that decision has to be made before the ball's let go, and then it's too late.
A ball and a strike.
That's why I thought it was so impressive. I think, wasn't it Caratini who hit the ball the other way? He just tried to kind of just stay under control. And I always tell a lot of guys when they're overmatched or having a guy like this, all you have to do is hit the barrel with a nice smooth swing. You don't have to overswing. You don't have to try to do a lot. Just hit the barrel. The game is hard enough trying to do more than you can do. And that's what Caratini did. And he got a mistake.
He's got 2 of the 4 hits tonight for the Brewers, a count of 1-2. Rousseau has lined out and struck out. Montgomery was 6 tonight. He has walked 1 and allowed just 4 hits, no runs. The 1-2 pitch. 2-2. Big series in the National League East. The Phillies and the Mets. 2-1 Phillies. The bottom of the 10th. Atlanta leading the Marlins 4-3 in the top of the 9th. And a 2-2 pitch by Montgomery. Inside corner again. Gets that call and strikeout number 7.
And that's the thing. We're sitting here watching the box, and it looks like it's off the plate inside on the box, and they're probably going to start complaining. But he's been in there all night. And look at Yadi's glove. Watch Yadi catch this. It is just still as can be.
It's the beauty of Yadi or Molina.
And you know what the other thing is, and I thought it was interesting talking to somebody one day, their umpires are told to look and see if the hand gets turned over. Well, you see Yadi's hand. He just kind of slides his elbow out a little bit and catches it without moving his thumb up or down. So he gets that pitch.
Hunter Renfroe at the plate. We have noticed since his return, the pitches that the staff as a whole that they're getting. Now, part of that might be the respect that Yadi gets from a home plate umpire, but also the fact that he will get you a low strike.
Well, I just said, look where he's at. Take a look at this right here, though, Danny. Watch his glove on this pitch for strike 3 before. Now watch Yadi's glove. Watch where he's set up. He's set up where he wants to be, but watch how he catches it. So it is off center of his body, but he doesn't reach for it. He just kind of gets a little momentum out with his elbow. He's taught to use his elbow. Look how he's set up there. See how it doesn't reach. It's just kind of like the elbow moves. don't see the hand taking off, like and going out of the way for the ball. He's
swiping at it.
He's putting his body kind of almost outside of the zone a little bit, and then he's setting the glove where he wants it, knowing that he can go either way a couple inches.
2-2.
I mean, even that down low, he's not just stabbing at it; he's just catching it. He's just perfected over the years ways of catching, and some guys are way easier. Obviously, we watch him with Jordan Hicks, and he has his hands full with guys like that, and everyone's going to, but he's perfected ways to catch the baseball.
The 2-2. His frame rate is 49.1%. That is 5th best in the National League.
And see, when I watch him, I don't even think that he's a good framer, because I think he's so good at just catching the ball. I think a lot of guys, when I hear the word framing, I think of guys turning the ball in and pushing it into the zone. And so I guess that's probably like that right there.
Ooh, he almost got it too.
I think he stabbed at that just a little bit as he was going off. But when I hear the word frame, I almost think, okay, that's almost like now to catchers, it's almost like a downgrade, because these guys like him are so good they don't frame, they just catch smooth.
So the 2-out walk, Renfroe on base for the second time. Keston Hiura is 0 for 2. He's lined out to short and struck out back in the 4th inning. Cardinals with the leave Andre Palante beginning to throw in the St. Louis bullpen. And while we have a moment, quick word from Siteman Cancer Center.
The Brain Tumor Center at Siteman. Committed to research, invested in technology, powered by Washington University physicians.
There's Palante throwing in the bullpen. It was last Friday when he was moved back to the bullpen. He gave the Cardinals 4 scoreless in that game against the Yankees, kept it a 1-run game, and then DeYoung came through with a double that scored 2, and the Cardinals won Game 1 of the series against New York. That is a weapon for St. Louis now in their pen. Not to say he can't be in the rotation, but he's really good in that bullpen.
I hate to say this, but I think I told you so in not so many words. I really liked him in the bullpen. I really did. For a lot of reasons. I love his stuff. I love his mentality. And I love the fact that there's certain guys you can see a difference, the mentality, when not having to pace themselves. And they're bulldogs out there. And then I think the starters have to be a little bit more deliberate and a little bit more thoughtful and a little bit more kind of game plan-ish, where closers and stuff, they can come out and they have a game plan, but your game plan is pitch by pitch. Starters are going to say, this is what we're going to do. Some guys will be like, this is what I'm going to do first time through the lineup, no matter who's hitting. And other guys are going to pitch certain guys a certain way. But the starters have a little bit of a plan or a pattern as far as what they want to establish, where guys come out of the bullpen, man, they're just trying to get outs. And I love that mentality. That's just kind of my favorite thing, is just come in and put it all on the line.
We've seen that from Palante, no doubt. 2 outs, runner at first, and a 2-1 pitch to Keston Hiura. Telling you, Jimmy, that's that pitch. I'm loving what I'm seeing out of that. That inside, just dart fastball.
Watch where Yachty's body is in the square, and then watch just where he catches it. Now he's set up on the square between his body, but so if that's anywhere near his, see where he's at? If that's anywhere near the middle of his body, that's on the edge. If he misses to his right or left, it's down the middle of the strike zone.
Montgomery, it's a new career high in pitches in a game. He's at 107.
He's done a really nice job. You'd like to see him just keep getting through innings. I hate when guys have to come out, pitch count, right, pitching this well, only giving up 4 hits, no runs. You'd like to really see him get through this inning.
He's trying to pick up strikeout number 8 to end his night. The crowd behind him. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. So Montgomery picks up the strikeout, 2-0 St. Louis.
See the emotion coming off the mound.
Oh yeah.
So that to me is huge momentum builder for a guy like that. And that's why I was trying to say, and that's part of being around the game for so long. You know what a big deal that is for a pitcher to be able to finish that inning versus getting taken out just because he gave up a hit. You know?
Absolutely.
See the emotion, the charge that you get out of it.
Out to deep left field. It is gone. It's a home run. Nolan Arenado with a blast out to left. And Jimmy, I got to tell you, our partner next to us, right before the pitch and before the at-bat, said Nolan Arenado is hitting a home run. And Luke Frazier, you nailed it. The home run out to left.
Are we watching the second coming of the MVP 2?
It's getting there.
Not the NV3, but the NV2. These guys are unbelievable. Exciting to watch.
So Luke called it 378 feet, 108 off the bat.
Oh, he's flirting with another one right here. Back to back. Luke, what do you think? Back to back? I think so. He's nodding his head.
The 2-0. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike.
Yeah, he doesn't have his SAG card, so he can't talk. But he's nodding his head.
Change that here in a second.
He's nodding his head.
Albert rips it right to third, the second time he is lined out tonight. Fiesta Cardinals, presented by He Gets Us, returns to the ballpark on Sunday, August 28th. Purchase of a special themed ticket. Fans receive an exclusive Cardinals Sugar Skull bobblehead. Come early for a pregame heritage event in the Budweiser Terrace. And for tickets or more information, visit cardinals.com/fiesta.
It's the Day of the Dead right there.
Oh, I have no idea, but I'm looking forward to Fiesta Cardinals.
Well, it is a huge, huge Mexican tradition, the Day of the Dead. And I actually was in Mexico, I believe, last year for that holiday, and I thought it was pretty special. Pretty cool.
There's Tommy Edman with a ball and a strike.
Now, I know you want to ask me what the Day of the Dead is, but I can't really give you enough details for that one.
Well, I'm going to find out with Fiesta Cardinals.
We will.
The fly ball to Yelich came in, goes back, and makes the catch. I'd be smiling, too, at the kind of night that Montgomery's put together with the 8 strikeouts and a chance to pick up a win in a key game here in August against Milwaukee. '25 home runs for Arenado. Goldie with 28. And DeYoung sends it into center. A leadoff homer by Nolan Arenado. We head to the 7th. And the Cardinals on top in a battle for first place. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Cardinals, not to be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Let's check in with Jim Hayes.
Danny, after the Brewers traded Josh Hader, they went into a little tailspin, dropping 4 or 5. I asked Colton Wong about it. He said when you trade a big piece of your team, it affects everybody. Colton said a player meeting changed the feeling in the clubhouse. Colton said, we just said Josh was a huge part of what we do, but this is our team now. We need to go out and fight for each other. Danny Colton said after taking 2 straight from Tampa, he thinks the Brewers are back on track. I like Colton, but I'm hoping he's wrong.
We had the chance to talk it all over with Colton. Loves coming back to play here in St. Louis.
I think that was very, very good information, because I truly believe that if you don't address it, you could lose your season in a hurry. You really can. You know, and that there's sometimes gets to be a feeling in there as if, you know, they don't care, they don't want us to win. You know, there's a lot of that goes around all the time. And if you as a leader don't squash that or don't rally right away, you can go in a tailspin in a hurry. And once you start, man, it is hard to get out. So give them a lot of credit for whoever started that and noticing in that and turning that around.
So Andre Palante in relief of Montgomery, who went 6. And that's pulled foul.
I'm kind of shocked, to be honest with you, when I saw it. When they traded him, Hader, I was shocked. I just don't.
There has to be something there. There's got to be more to it.
I don't know. I don't know. It's like.
Well, he was struggling right before the deadline, and he struggled a little bit already in San Diego.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they lost velocity. Maybe he lost some spin rate. Who knows? Maybe there's some guy sitting upstairs with his computer and the spin rate's gone down 5% and he's just not digging it anymore.
That happens.
He's got his glasses on and he's sitting up there trying to figure out what to do next.
2-2 is lined.
Jeez.
Watch out, Willie.
What was that? How do we really think about it? I mean, struggle or no struggle, everyone struggles. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, you imagine in the middle, just right away in the middle of the year, just Billy Wagner getting traded.
High fly ball, deep left. O'Neill back, leaps off the top of the wall, and it gets away. Urias hustling to third, and he'll stop there, standing up with a triple.
Where this ball hits, but I think Tyler either lost it or just didn't understand where he was.
Having made that play before, Jimmy, what did he do right? What did he do wrong? What did you see?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know how athlete that he is. I think maybe he just took it. I don't even know. I can't even explain it. I can't believe he didn't catch that ball. And I bet you if you go down and ask him, he probably knows that he should have caught that ball. That ball's not out of the ballpark. He was there plenty of time. And I would have to say,
is he drifting a little bit?
That ball's got to be caught. It seemed like he thought right away it was a homer and then realized he had a little bit of time. The problem about the corner outfielders is the ball, whether you realize it or not, is always going into the corners. It's tailing, it's cutting, it's never straight. So when you think you see the ball go up and you run into an area, if you take your eye off it, when you look back, it has moved a foot or two on you towards the pole. And you know what's really funny is, it doesn't matter if a left-hander hits it or a right-hander hits it, it's going towards the pole. So you saw when he jumped, he had to reach towards the left field corner more, and hence doesn't catch the ball. But right here, I think he thinks he's got a chance, but like I said, you can see where he reaches. That ball just kept kind of cutting on him and cutting on him. Just didn't get there. You don't see him make those plays very often. That's one you really want to catch, because if you catch that ball on the way up, it looks like you got a good home run Rob right there. You ever seen those guys that catch it kind of at the wall and then they reach up over the wall and bring it back? Looks good for TV. Until you watch it, it's like, that wasn't a homer.
Crowd tonight, 45,669, 14th sellout, and the 5th consecutive sellout here at Busch Stadium, 45669. Urias, his first triple of the season, 4th of his career. Palante as a reliever, 33 2/3 innings with a 1.34 ERA. Very good coming out of the pen. The 1-2 kept in front. And it's 2-2. He's actually been tougher against the lefties. Got reverse splits, 216 the average. And the right-handers are at 310. Appearance number 31 this year, 21st in relief. Pitched a couple of days ago against the Rockies. 2-2 is tap foul. Caratini had 2 hits against tonight's starter Montgomery. The 6 innings, 4 hits, struck out 8, walked 2. No runs allowed. 3-0 our score here in the top of the 7th. And a 2-2. Base hit. Brewers get on the board. Caratini, his 3rd hit in the game, and that'll score Urias to make it 3-1.
That ball just stayed up. Another good swing by Caratini. You can just see he's just kind of one of those guys that's under control. It's only a 230 hitter, but it hit the ball where it's pitched.
It's Caratini's first hit with a runner in scoring position since July 23rd. He had been over his previous 8. And a strike to Tyrone Taylor, who is 1 for 2. Ryan Helsley is up in the St. Louis bullpen. On the bench, Rowdy Tellez, Colton Wong from the left side, Feliciano and Davis from the right. The 0-1. For Caratini, his second 3-hit game of the year. Last was back on June 9th against the Phillies. One, a double play ball. The turn and 2. Double play turn number 107 on the ground by the Cardinals. WWE night at the ballpark is Tuesday, August 16th. Purchase of a theme ticket, take home a David Eckstein WWE bobblehead. Cardinals.com/theme. So after the first 2 reached, 6-4-3 on the double play. And it brings in Yelich. Yelich came up with 1 out and 2 on back in the 5th inning. And struck out. He has struck out twice and also lined out. The 0-1.
This is where you want to see him, though. Up by 2. At the plate with no one on.
Absolutely.
I think it's like, you know, you're looking at a guy who hasn't been able to do what he's done in the past, but you still see the name on the back of the jersey.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
I mean,
same
he's
thing
still
with
a threat.
Yeah, same thing with Albert.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, you can. It's one of those pitchers meetings where you can get him out if you make your pitch, but you forgot the part at the beginning where it says if you make your pitch, because it's not that easy all the time.
The count of 2-1. Now 2-2.
Great pitch right there.
Yelich 1 for 2 with a strikeout against Belmonte. Interesting to see Ryan Helsley up here in the 7th inning, and that should tell you that Ollie Marmol is not going to take any chances.
You want to win this game.
Yep. The 2-2.
It's a 97-mile-an-hour cutter. I don't know if it was on purpose or accident, but that ball was running in.
The 3-2 pitch and tapped foul. Tardy on some of these swings, maybe guessing wrong, Jimmy. I don't know.
Well, I think he's been getting a steady dose of breaking balls, and so basically just trying not to overswing at the fastball, which does put you in the middle at times. Or he could be guessing.
Arenado there.
Just not the same hitter.
Time to stretch. 3-1. Up tomorrow in terms of pitching. So if you're not coming to the ballpark, tune us in. Burns, Wainwright, Budweiser, what's on tap? And we'll come your way at 5:30. 6:15 with the first pitch. Corbin, Burns, Adam Wainwright. Cardinals and Brewers in Game 2 tomorrow. There's Brent Suter, 34th appearance. Pitched 6 days ago. The Chevy called to the pen. Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers will donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. And our buddy tonight who's with us, Luke Frazier, we had the chance to hook up through the Make-A-Wish Foundation, which does great things here in St. Louis and really throughout the country. And Luke has been a good luck charm because he said, hey, Nolan's going deep. 2 pitches later, he went deep. So thank you, Luke.
He made his own Honda home run.
He did. Suter, one of the fastest workers in the game. Lars Nootbaar grounded out to short. Bunt single and a stolen base back in the 5th and a swing and a miss.
You like guys like this, cut the ball and throw, fastball, curveball change. You'd like to see, though, guys that work this fast maybe throw a little bit more often. He's had 4 days off.
Little squibber that'll roll foul. Suter is the longest tenured Brewer now. Nootbaar hits a hot shot but caught. Adames there, and that'll be out number 2. So Helsley up and throwing. The Brewers in the 8th will have Adames, McCutchen, Brasso, and a strike. The 0-1. Off of Suter, Loved by the second baseman, Urias. The Cardinals go 1-2-3. We move to the 8th. 3-1. St. Louis Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Ford, the official car and truck of the Cardinals. Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. And presented by Budweiser, this Bud's for you. Brian Helsley making his 38th appearance. Pitched 5 days ago and got save number 11. That was against the Yankees. Went an inning and a third, 15 pitches. And this year he has allowed a grand total of 16 hits the entire year.
What are the chances of having a weapon like this and not having to use him for 4 days? Doesn't happen very often.
So they're going to bring him in, and it could be where you have Helsley pitching in the 8th inning, or you could have him in the 8th and the 9th, depending on how it goes.
I'm thinking this is your 2-inning save right here.
You've got him at the heart of the lineup. The right-hander's hitting 102, the lefty's 111. And the 1-0 pitch fouled back. Well, he's talked about this too, having a weapon in which more times than not he's going to be in the 9th inning, but part of the lineup coming up. You use him in this spot, and that's what he's doing here. 2 balls and a strike. Adames is 0 for 2 with a walk. McCutchen is hitless. He's 0 for 3. And Brasso, the cleanup man, is 0 for 3. The 2-1 pitch by Helsley. 2-2. Thing is, Jimmy, if you go 2 innings in this game tonight, it's almost assuredly that he's not going to pitch tomorrow.
I was with you on that one.
The 2-2. And a base hit into center. While we have a moment, quick word from Great Southern Bank.
Sometimes you just don't feel like running to the bank. Fortunately, you can check your balance from the comfort of your favorite spot with a Great Southern mobile app. Great convenience, Great Southern Bank.
I think watching this, Danny, just makes you realize how tough it is to be a manager in this day and age. And it kind of, you have to play for today, right? But you have to be careful about tomorrow. But if you worry about tomorrow and then you don't even get into a save situation, then what have you done? You know, you could have given up 2 days now. And so very tough to say, yeah, I don't want to lose him for maybe 2 days by throwing him 2 innings today. But if you don't win today, then what do you have? So very, very tough answers, and that's why he's got the office, as Mr. LaRussa used to say.
0-2. He's gone 2 or more innings 5 times this year with a save, 1 blown save, and 2 wins. Cardinals turn to double play back in the 7th inning. The tying run at the plate in McCutchen. And the 0-2. Pulled foul. A strikeout of McCutchen. That's 9 strikeouts in the lineup tonight of the Milwaukee Brewers.
With a slider right here, just depth straight down. No. Almost the tip of the hat right there. Thank you very much.
And Mike Maddox will have a scouting report here with Rowdy Tellez coming up to be the pinch hitter for Rousseau.
That's the thing as a hitter too. You see that slider spin, but you don't get slider break. You got his new slider, so to speak, is downward. That is not something you normally see.
Tellez head-to-head against Helsley is 0 for 1. So runner at first and 1 out. Jason Alexander is throwing in the Brewers bullpen. A shift on the right side. First pitch, fastball and a strike. We come off the bench.
101.
Welcome to the game.
Outfield pretty much deep and straight away.
Arenado now backing up, moving towards the bag at second. 0-2.
Arenado was in motion. Last time you done a football game?
Oh, it's been a while.
You just basically had your third baseman in motion right there.
Yeah.
There's a pretty big hole right there on the left side.
The 0-2 fouled back. 102 from Helsley.
I don't know about you, but that's just really hard for me to watch when a guy's throwing 100 miles an hour.
You got the shift.
That far of the shift.
0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. 102.
Thank you very much. From all of us.
So back-to-back strikeouts.
Good spot right there to up and out.
Hunter Renfroe with a base hit to center, grounded out to short, and walked. Cardinals in the bottom of the 8th. We'll have O'Neill, Goldschmidt, Arenado coming up. Goldie and Arenado have homered in this ball game tonight.
Have you noticed Helsley ever since he gave up that home run? What about maybe a month ago? Was that 2-out home run? First pitch fastball
against Miami.
He's almost gotten an out or two and then thrown off-speed pitch first time to the next guy, to the last guy. He's done it a couple times, I've noticed. Never want to do that again.
Well, I think
you know what I mean.
If you're a hitter, though, you've got to gear up and just sell out sometimes, right?
That's what happens. But you get at 1 out by getting after it, 2 outs by getting. If the third guy's got to cheat, and so that happened to him one time. I'm just saying, like, he's learned that he can throw other stuff, and then he can make his pitch if it's 0-1-1-0 and not just pump fastballs. And you never know. And you never know who's cheating. You never know who's going to catch up that day. So you got to be on guard.
The 1-1. Line to third on a short hop, Arenado. Nice play. Yet again. Runs, 4 hits. He strikes out 8, walked 2. The Budweiser plays of the game in the first inning. 2-run homer hit by Goldie. And Arenado thanks to Luke Frazier, connected in the 6th. His 25th home run of the year. And Suter in his 2nd inning. And a quick 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 7th. And it's 1-1 on O'Neill. No one throwing in the St. Louis bullpen. So Ryan Helsley back out there for the 9th, it looks like. Tellez goes to first base. Urias from 2nd to 3rd. Wong at 2nd base, and he'll bat 6th. The 2-1. 3-1. They've got a right-hander throwing in the bullpen, and you'd have to think there's no way that they had, one way or another, allowed Suter to face Goldie.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
Three and 2. O'Neill puts it on the ground to 3rd. Urias fires and out. Ooh, that is close.
Oh, this is so close. Wow. They could overturn this.
I mean, at this point in the game, too, it's late.
St. Louis is challenging the call of...
What do you say? Challenging the call of...
Safer out.
I mean, this is close.
Well, this late in the game, why not take the chance? You haven't used the challenge anyway.
And they say now, right, that it has to be in the back of the glove.
That's changed, but generally speaking, within right around before it hits the back. That's how it used to be. Yeah.
I don't think they will.
Within that jaw of the glove, if you will.
Ooh, I like that word, the jaw of the glove. I don't think that they are going to overturn this one, though. What do they... I don't know why I still think this is funny, but what do they say in the NFL? It's inconclusive.
Review. The call is confirmed. The runner's out. St. Louis loses challenge.
That is big time. Nice work right there by Doug Evans. I love the energy he brought to the replay right there.
Jason Alexander, right-hander, coming up and coming out of the pen for Milwaukee to face Goldie when we come back. Fifth appearance. Pitch with Milwaukee back on July 17th at San Francisco in 5 innings, 8 hits, 7 earned. And so we're in the bottom of the 8th, and Paul Goldschmidt and Arenado coming up. StatCast powered by Google Cloud. 2-run homer the first inning against Lauer, who went 6 and gave up 3 runs. Goldie has also been called out on strikes and grounded out. 429 feet. And the first pitch taken low. So the Brewers in the 9th will have Wong, Urias, and Caratini coming up. And no one throwing for St. Louis in the bullpen. The 1-0. Nolan Arenado is on deck. And Jimmy, we had Jim Cott, as you well know, in the booth earlier. And a man that has been in baseball for decade after decade. As Goldie lifts a high fly ball down the right field line. Played with Mike Schmidt. Brooks Robinson, he saw him up close, Scott Rowland, and he says Nolan Arenado might be the best third baseman he's ever seen.
Well, I'll tell you what, that is
it's quite a statement.
Yeah, quite a compliment, but quite a statement.
2-1 pitch.
You're not talking about just like an average, pretty good pitcher. You're talking about a guy who played 25 years.
In the Hall of Fame.
Played 25 years.
Broadcast many decades of national baseball, too. And still today follows the game extremely closely.
25 years.
Grounder hit to third. Urias. And that is out number 2. It was interesting how he said it. He was like, well, you hear about all these great players. He was talking in Cooperstown about this. We were talking about it off the air a little bit, too. He said the guy that you cannot overlook is the guy coming to the plate. He said this guy is something else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're lucky we get to see him every day. I think that's the thing, too, is, we're accustomed to seeing this. This is like the staple, right? And you don't realize that what you're watching is special. It's just like kind of joke. I mean, because I was part of it and it was fun, but having 3 guys that you knew were good and being the MVP, MV3, and like these 2 guys, I mean, we get accustomed to it, but when you don't see it for a few years, you're like, wow, those guys were good. Like these 2 guys are special on both sides of the ball.
Wait till you
and that's what
see Yadier Molina.
Yeah, but that's exactly. But that's the thing, like, when you had Scott Rowland and then you had Albert at first, and if I was out there, and then you had Matheny or Yadi, and then you got Yadi, which is great, but then you didn't have a third baseman like this, and you didn't have a first baseman after Albert was gone for a while, and then all of a sudden you took the best third baseman, best first baseman, and all of a sudden you just replaced them with, a few years later, with 2 of the best again, and we take it for granted sometimes, I think. I know what, like, I just was thinking, I was talking to Brian in between the inning, and I was like, that play that Nolan made to make the last out is more difficult than we let on to believe.
It was 103 off the bat with a short hop.
And the glove didn't even move. It's like he just put his glove down, was knowing where the ball was going to end up, and stuck it. It's like no panic, just reach over there and let it bounce right where it's supposed to go.
2-2.
This doesn't look like anything special, but it's just the fact that he doesn't do anything but catch the ball. And that's what Scott did. Scott just made the plays. What's so interesting, too, as you think about this, like with Ozzie, like how much work the middle infielders have to do to make plays like that. And then the difference between the third baseman and the middle infielders with the room they have to cover. Like Ozzie was unbelievable, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But how much room he had to cover made it even harder and even more unbelievable. Where these guys are getting 0.05 seconds to react and then have enough wherewithal to just put the glove down there and not panic. Let the ball bounce where it's supposed to, in the glove, throw him out.
Albert is hitless tonight with 2 lineouts and a ground out. Against Milwaukee in his career, 56 doubles, 43 home runs, and a .321 average. And the 1-0 is a base hit out to left.
You notice that foot's getting down. There's a leg kick, but the foot's getting down on time and giving him an opportunity to be quicker or take certain pitches. You know, I was watching the game the other day, Danny, speaking of, and I don't know if it was in Colorado or if it was at home against New York, but the play that Arenado made over there on his knees, maybe, was a little...
Saturday night.
Was unbelievable.
Yeah, that was the one.
I mean, got
Saturday
me
night.
off the couch.
Montgomery was on the mound, and he made that great play down at third. He also had a play with his back to the infield 2 nights ago in Denver.
But that one got me off the couch watching at home. I was like, okay, everyone turn around and watch this in my house. You don't see this very often.
So Donovan will pinch run for Albert Pujols. And runners at first and second for Tommy Edman. Lined out to right, another to left, and also a ground out to third. Runners at first and second with 2 outs. Big gap in left center. The 1-0 pitch. Fastball in for a strike, and it's 1-1. The 1-1 pitch off the plate, and it's a count of 2 balls and 1 strike. Cardinals trying to make it 29 wins against the National League Central this year. And go to 29-16 and move a game and a half in front of Milwaukee. The 2-1. Hit up the middle. And the shortstop, Adames, will take it, steps on the bag. Cardinals strand a pair, and we head to the 9th in a 3-1 St. Louis lead. 52 here tonight, and they lead it 3-1. Also pick up a victory for Jordan Montgomery. Goldie 1 for 4 with a 2-run homer. Arenado with a solo home run. Helsley is second inning. And here's Colton Wong. And the first pitch to Wong is taken for a strike. He is 0 for 2 head-to-head against Helsley. Since the break, hitting .375 with 7 doubles and a couple of home runs. Did not start tonight. Came into the ball game late here in Game 1. And the 0-1 pitch off the plate and a ball on a strike.
I don't watch a lot of Brewers baseball, but I think this is the first time I've seen him play in person. He hasn't played a lot.
He's been injured.
Yeah, I know. It's been amazing. Like, just thinking about seeing him every day for so long, and then he hasn't been out there much, and then there he is.
And obviously still a fan favorite here in St. Louis.
Pretty good player right here. Pretty good athlete. One, 2 is swung on and a foul tip.
Jimmy, our buddy to my right, your left, Luke Frazier, part of our team tonight. As we hooked up through the Make-A-Wish Foundation, I said, well, who's one of your favorite players? He said, Colton Wong. And I wore number 16.
It's awesome.
When I played, and we went over
to visit him down there, I bet, didn't you, before the game?
We went and talked to Colton and Ollie and Stubby and Nolan Gorman and Brendan Donovan. It was fun. The guys were great, but Colton was exceptional. When we come up here and you get a Hall of Famer or two that pops in.
There's been a lot of action going on around here today.
Jim Edmonds, Jim Cott hanging out, so not a bad night.
Got to meet the Cat.
You got it. Cat ran the show, really.
Yeah, for the 1 or 2 minutes that he's up here, he tends to run the show.
2-2 pitch. Wong lines it for a base hit. The tying run will come to the plate.
Really a couple interesting things during this at bat. He threw 2 fastballs right by him. And Colton does a nice job here with 2 strikes. He shortened up a little bit. But then also, Elsley throws him a breaking ball that bounces really, really short. So I'm thinking, okay, is he going to throw him another one? But that's probably not the best pitch. But then at the same time, it's telling Colton, here comes fastball.
Yeah. That was 103, by the way, too.
Yeah, that's why I think the difference in the Colton Wong now versus his early years was the swing cutting down with 2 strikes is a lot better. Before, he just keeps swinging as hard as he could. That's what's made him a better player.
And an 0-1 pitch. Elsley had 2 strikeouts in the 8th inning. Gave up a base hit. Got a ground out on a hard hit ball to Nolan Arenado. It's at 24 pitches. They're trying to push him here tonight.
This is the slider I was telling you, Danny, that without the, this is something you don't see as a hitter. You see slider spin, but you get split-fingered fastball break. I think this goes straight down.
The 1-2. Swing and a miss. 102 from Helsley. Cardinals are trying to hold on and win this game. Montgomery would be the first Cardinal to open up his career with St. Louis with a win in 2 straight scoreless starts since Al Jackson back in 1966. It was nasty right there at 102.
It was.
And 1 out. And a pitch in the dirt. It's 11 strikeouts in the lineup for the Brewers tonight. Caratini is 3 for 3. 2 singles and a double. RBI back in the 7th. Double play would end it. The 1-0. Fly ball into shallow left. O'Neill there. Brewers down to their final out.
You see Tyler wave him off a little bit. That's just telling you that when the ball goes up, sometimes you're just like kind of get lost in your own head.
Tyrone Taylor. 1 for 3 with a single back in the 5th inning. Struck out, grounded into a double play. Two outs and a runner at first. And Taylor hits a fly ball into center. Backing up a step or two or three, it's Carlson. He has it, and the Cardinals take game one, 3-1. 3-1 the final. Cardinals take it. Nice way to start the homestand.
And Montgomery, nice job. I liked him today. He did a great job. What a pickup so far. 6 innings, 4 hits, no runs. And then the bullpen came and did shut it down, although Palante gave up a run, but the ball should have been caught. But look at that right there, Danny. The central standings and all that matters for the rest of this year.
So the Cardinals lead it now by a game and a half in the NL Central. Helsley gets the final 6 outs in this game. Montgomery, his second Cardinal victory. Helsley the save, and that was number 12, and the Cardinals win it by the final of 3-1. It's off to the post-game show. Stay with us. Plenty of Cardinals coverage is coming your way.